Welcome back. This is Marc Rudov, branding advisor to CEOs and author of 3 books on branding for CEOs. Today's topic, the two-state solution. Is it possible? First, let's look at early Israel. We hear a lot about Israelis being occupiers, colonialists, and running an apartheid state. Well, of course, these are all lies. A lot of propaganda circulating the globe, and people believe a lot of that propaganda because they don't know anything. And I've talked about this before, the Gen Zero morons who learn nothing in school, whose parents don't correct them because the parents don't know anything either. So let's just look at early Israel. Jews are occupants of Israel, not occupiers. Here we see that going back almost 4,000 years to 1900 BCE, Abraham chosen by God as the father of the Jewish nation. Isaac, Abraham's son, rules over Israel, 1900 BCE. If you're not familiar with the term BCE, it means before the Common Era, because Jews don't say BC, because Christ is not part of our religion. So we say BCE, and we say CE for Common Era. Let's move all the way up to 70 CE, when the Romans destroyed the Second Temple, except for the Western Wall, which still stands today. And in 135 CE, Roman Emperor Hadrian conquers Israel and changes the name to Palestine, after the Philistines, an ancient tribe long gone. But Hadrian wanted to stick it to the Jews and de-Judaize Israel. That's why he changed the name. Now in 1963, Yasser Arafat started using Palestinian to describe the Jordanians living in Israel, and the name stuck. So today, people still refer to them as Palestinians, but most of them came from Jordan, and some from Egypt. Now, as you know, on October 7th, Hamas led a massacre of Israel. Between 12 and 1,300 people dead, almost 300 hostages. A savage act. We hear a lot that Palestinians and Hamas are not the same and have different attitudes. Is that true? Of course it's not true. First of all, the Palestinians elected Hamas after Israel left the Gaza Strip in 2005. Hamas controls it to this day. Hamas has turned a strip the size of New York City into a haven of terrorism. I've heard reports back from people I know in the IDF who say that the entire strip is nothing but terrorist tunnels, missiles, rockets, booby traps. This is a beautiful section of land turned into a haven, a cauldron, if you will, of terrorism. Let's look at a recent survey done by Birzeit University, located in Judea and Samaria, known to many people as the West Bank. It's called the Arab World for Research and Development. That's the name of the group within Birzeit University. Lo and behold, they discovered that 75%, considering the people from the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, 75% of people agree with Hamas's massacre of Israelis. It doesn't really sound like people who want to be neighbors of Israel, does it? Now let's look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden has said numerous times that the only solution for the region is a two-state solution. Go.
But I think the only ultimate answer here is a two-state solution that's real. We got to get to the point where there is an ability to be able to even talk without worrying about whether or not we're just dealing with, they're dealing with Hamas that's going to engage in the same activities they did over the past, on the 7th. So but I can't tell. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't tell you how long it's going to last. But I can tell you I don't think it ultimately ends until there's a two-state solution. I made it clear to the Israelis I think it's a big mistake for them to think they're going to occupy Gaza and maintain Gaza. I don't think that works.
Is that true? How can it be true? If your neighbors want to kill you, then how can you live side by side? On October 6th, the Gaza Strip was, if you will, a state next to Israel. Did the Gazans live in peace? No. Many civilians mixed with the Hamas stormtroopers and came into Israel to help murder and rape and burn and pillage and destroy human beings. And they were very proud of it. What's even more sickening is, and I'm going to let Bibi Netanyahu tell you, Hamas is now blaming Israel for massacring its own people. Go.
Today, the Palestinian Authority spokesman in Ramallah said something utterly preposterous. It denied that it was Hamas that carried out the horrible massacre at the Nature Festival near Gaza. It actually accused Israel of carrying out that massacre. This is a complete reversal of truth. Abu Mazen, who in the past has denied the existence of the Holocaust, today is denying the existence of the Hamas massacre. And that's unacceptable.
Okay, so now you know what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with savages. Pure savages. Now here's what I think. The two-state solution is nothing more than a two-stage final solution. And we know who first used that term, Adolf Hitler. That was his plan to eradicate Jews from the face of the earth. Here we see stage one, Israel today. Stage two, no Israel at all. Completely wiped off from the river to the sea. Now these so-called Palestinians have rejected every two-state solution offered to them from 1936 until 2008. Why? Because they want to delete Israel. And their latest attempt was on October 7th, 2023. So I can conclude nothing but there will never be a two-state solution unless Israel takes over everything and becomes the official state of all of the territory. That's the only way Israel's ever going to have peace. Because what the so-called Palestinians want is to eradicate the Jews. That's all they've ever wanted since 1936. And before that, there were many conquerors, as you could see in that previous slide. People just don't want the Jews to have a homeland at all. But God said that Israel is the homeland of the Jews, and that's what it is, whether you like it or not. Don't believe the propaganda. You have to believe the truth. You have to research the truth. I try to provide as much of that to you as I can. Because to me, messaging, branding, truth, they all go together. They can't be separated. Otherwise, it's just bullshit and propaganda. This is Marc Rudov at markrudov.com. Until next time.